Hey guys, welcome back to the craft room. I know it has been a hot minute since we were in this craft room, but for the last 2 weeks I have had a brace on my left hand and it's finally come off, so we can finally get back to sewing. And Lord have mercy, what is going on there? But anywho, I have no idea where I left off on the last video. I guess I could have went back and like refreshed myself, but yes, I'm still using that lip balm out of my I believe this one came in a soap sampler. The little lip balm, it's really good. So just to refresh myself and you, what we were doing, we were working on this table runner, and this is from Pineapple Fabrics. It is a Carla pack that you can purchase on pineapplefabrics.com. I will leave all their information listed down below like I always do. And this takes a Carla pack, which is like charm squares, mini charms, and some bonus quarter pieces. And we're going to use that to make this beautiful runner. Now, I already have my center section done, and I have these outer pieces done. Already have them together and they are ironed. So let me catch up on what we were doing. It says add strips to center panel. How hard is that, right? And we basically cut these to like a jelly roll length size, I believe is what we cut them to. And actually I cut my center one a little bit thinner than it calls for, but that's okay. A pattern is a pattern. If you want to adjust it a little bit, you can adjust, you know. But yeah, my center strip is just a hair bit under what they called for here, and I don't think that's going to make it too big of a difference. I will just have to adjust it down here on this little bottom section, which that's no big deal. I think I can figure that part out. So it says widening the runner by adding your 3 strips on each side of the row. Cut. Okay, I already did that. Cut the strips. Okay, repeat this process. I just sewed my strips together, and now I'm going to sew them onto my center pieces. I guess you could have sewed each one on individual, however you want to do it. I just sewed all 3 of mine together first. I had my TV on at first. I thought my cats were meowing, and so let's sew these on. I am going to, yes, you're at kind of a different spot. I am playing around with some different lighting. I hope it brightened it up in here a little bit. I'm going to try to bring you guys over like this. And I have boxes of fabric everywhere. Pieces of fabric everywhere. There's one of my rows of strips. Here is my center piece, and I'm going to put, I wanted the flowers to the inside, so let me turn you around here. On this pattern on the inside. I'm going to turn that around. Find my foot pedal. It's always moving around on me. And I'm just going to match up these corners. But yes, guys, my hand was in a brace for 2-ish weeks. Well, it was not fun. I had to work with it on. I had to do all the things with that brace on. I slept with it on. Okay. Just trying to get my edges even. What? What? That is one of my cats meowing. What? What is it? Come here. Come here. I'm gonna go see what he's meowing about. Okay, so I'm just going to add those strips to each side and I'll bring you guys back. Okay, so here is where we're at. I am a visual learner. I always have been. I learn quickly by watching someone do something. That's why I always kind of refer to YouTube to learn something, because I learn from watching somebody. Reading instructions has always been difficult for me. Even in school, it's just always been difficult. So I love patterns that have pictures, and my only thing with this one is I wish it had more instructional pictures, even though this looks pretty simple. You know, what I'm trying to determine is this guy right here, this on the end, and it looks like they have taken their 2.5 inch squares, excuse me, they're little mini charms, which you got a little packet of those. It looks like they've taken their mini charms and gone across in a row, but it looks like 2 rows, but I don't have enough charms to go all the way across for 2 rows on both sides, because I've made this row, right? And I have made an additional row because I thought, okay, 2 rows, this is what this picture looks like. But then I don't have enough charms left unless I have misplaced some charms, which I don't think I did. But I could be wrong. I could have dropped some. Knowing me, I dropped some. But I don't see any other than what I had left laying here, which is only like 4. It says I'm supposed to have 20 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 8. This is 16. That's 20 pieces. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I took off the extra one that I had, the other one that I did, right? I had 2 going on there because that's what it looks like on this picture. So here's what I'm going to do. I took it off, seam ripped it off, and we're going to put it on this end. And that's what we're going to do. Okay. And the way I did this, since these squares are small, or these stripes are smaller than these 2, I'm going to fold it in half and find my center. Okay. So I'm just going to put these corners together. I'm going to fold it. I'm going to lay it down, and I'm just going to take my fingernail and put a crease in it like that. So I know that that right there is my center. I know on my fabric, this right here is my center because it's equal on both sides. So I'm going to take that piece and I'm going to put it right there. That should be my center, and I'm going to take a pin and I'm going to pin it, and we're going to sew it on. I have told my manager at work, like, she'll show me things the way they're supposed to be done, and I'm like, that's how I learn. I learn from watching. I've just always been that way, or looking at something. Like, I can take a flower arrangement and, you know, kind of look at it and visually take it apart and know what I have to do to make another one just like it. So I'm just going to sew this guy on here. Take this pin out. So once I've got it started, I'm fine. I can just hold it. I'm just making sure that I am staying even here. Okay, and then I'm going to square up because these were a little bit bigger. Like I said, this is a little bit bigger. Let me turn you back around. I cut this a little small, so I'm just going to square up my ends here. Seam ripper. What would we do without seam ripper? So I'm just going to take a line on my ruler here, line it up with that seam even, and we're just gonna snip that little bit off. Okay, same thing on this side. I'm going to take this seam where it meets, and I'm going to line that up. I'm going to line the edge up with my fabric here and just snip that off. So now we are nice and square on this edge, and we're still even. This seam here is meeting the middle, so we're good. All right, so I think that's all I'm gonna do right there. I believe what they did, it says they cut more 2.5-inch squares is what it says. But I told you guys I don't have enough backing, so I'm not going to make this quite as long as this one is. So I'm just going to leave it at one of the these guys. Okay. Because it says cut 2.5 squares from bonus quarter in those fabrics. So probably what you had left, you were to cut the cut more squares, so you'd have more. Okay, assemble the runner. Cut 2.5 times 20 strips of fabric 5. Trim off excess. If you would like more body to your runner, line the entire piece with a medium weight fusible interfacing. Use yardage to make the backing the same size as the runner. Place the front and backs together, which this part is easy. I've showed you guys how to do this. This was the extra fabric, like you could have cut more squares from. I'm not going to do that. I am going to use some of this for the backing because I know I do not have enough backing. So what did I stash? Here it is. My fabric for the backing. And if I need some extra to make this piece bigger, I have this and I have these, so I think I'm okay. And I did not make this as long, quite as long as it said to. I think I left off one of the squares, and I only did one row of the 2.5 charms. So I'm going to just quickly press over some of this just to get some of these wrinkles out. And I am on the hunt for me a small ironing board. I need to go to some thrift stores, and I haven't been to thrift stores lately. I've been trying not to spend much money. We had something come up where we needed to make a payment on something that we was not expecting to have to pay, and that kind of, you know, took our fundage. So what I'm going to do now is take this in the bedroom. Let me flip you guys up here. This tripod is being ornery. Okay. I'm going to take this in the bedroom. I'm going to lay it out. I'm going to measure it to this, right? And I'm going to cut it. And if I need to add some material, I'll add it to make it fit. And then we're going to sandwich it wrong sides together. We're going to stitch all the way around and leave a small opening where we can flip it. I don't think I'm going to put interfacing in it because this material is pretty substantial. It's not like really thin and flimsy, so I don't think I'm going to put interfacing in it. So let me go get this part measured out. And again, I'm just going to lay it on the bed and lay the other one on top, measure it, cut around it, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, so what I did is I took my backing and the top, took it to the bedroom, laid it out across my bed, and pinned wrong sides together. Yes, I pinned, and I used quite a few pins. I probably could use more pins, but they are pinned together. And I'm going to start, I'll turn you down. Let's see if that'll do. That do? On an end here, kind of down toward the corner, not all the way in the corner. You want to leave an opening where you can turn it facing outward. So, all right. Get to the corner, you're going to lift and turn, and you're going to go down the side here, and I'm going to go all the way around, and I will go all the way around, and when it's time to flip it, I'll bring you guys back. Okay. Okay, I've sewn all the way around. So what I'm going to do now is go back through, see if I left any pins in. I don't think I did, but it's possible. And I'm going to take my ruler and just trim off any of the excess of the background and just even everything up before I flip it. So I'm just taking my big ruler here, and I'm going to leave a 1/4 inch seam, making sure I'm leaving at least a 1/4 inch seam. Just like that. And you could save that for some scrap if you wanted to. And it doesn't need like a whole lot of trimming up, just like little bits like this around the edge, like that. I'm just going to go through and clean up because some pieces overhung more than some other places. And just clean up the bits there, just like that. Look, right here's a good spot that had a lot of overhang. And just be sure you do not cut into your project, because that is not what you want to do after you've just took all this time to sew it. You could get this done in a day easily. Between work and my hand being in a brace, it was just not happening. I could not bend my wrist like this with that brace on, so it was like, well, just gotta let this rest for a little bit. It was this it wasn't like a torn tendon, but it was very aggravated, inflamed, stressed out. It was stressed out. But it's okay. We're just cleaning up. I just don't want this extra little bit of bulk around the edges. So we're shaving it off. Shaving it off. Okay. Again, you could, if you make crumbs, that's a good crumb piece. And just a little bit on this side, not much. And then we're going to flip it, guys. So I think that's not much more here. I mean, I could take a little off there. Off here, just evening up. There's where I really wanted to get it, right there. And this is what I do when I'm trimming up a quilt, like the backing of a quilt. This is the same thing I do. It's just a bigger piece. And we're back up to the end now. All right, so now we're going to flip her around. I'm excited. Okay. Which end did I leave open? The other end. So I'll leave enough where I can pretty much get my hand up in there. It does not have to be that big, but something this long, I wanted to be able to get my hand all the way up in there. And I'm going to grab these corners and I'm going to tuck them really, really good. That one. And this one. And I'm going to tuck it in there really, really good. And we're going to start pulling this through. And this is a lot to pull through, so just be careful, don't rip your piece. I'll just grab it and shake it, and it'll start doing its own thing. It's a giant pillowcase. And again, I'm going to just start with this corner. Take my finger and poke it through really, really good. Keep tucking. Okay, the other corner. Okay, poke that out pretty good. Okay, and here's where I'm really going to look at my corners. Those two look good. See these two down here on the ends. If you need to put your finger back in there to poke it better, which I do, I think I do on that one. How long is this guy? This guy's pretty long. So just right here. There we go. So much better. That's better. Just poke you. So now what do you do for this end? What I do is I take my piece and I fold it down, and I want to actually sew that really quick because it has come undone just a hair where I had my hand up in there. I'm going to poke my eyeball out with that, if I don't move it, to that ruler. Just right here. Easy peasy. Just wanted to go back over that seam. Okay, so now what I do, so take this and I fold it under, and I fold this piece under, make them meet like that. So I'm going to finger press. I'm going to take it to my iron and give it a press. My iron's getting cool because I've not been using it. So I'm going to let my iron heat back up for just a minute here. Okay, so I've got it looking like this. Let's see if my iron's warm. Give it a good steam. Okay, we'll flip it over, steam it from the front, and see if make sure it looks straight. Okay, so now I'm going to iron this whole thing, and what I try to do is right here where this is, I grab it with my fingers and I pull it up. It's hard. It takes a while and you have to go around like the whole piece, but that seam right there, I'm going to iron around this whole piece and pull the seam up like that. It takes time. It's aggravating. I'm sorry. That's just how I do it. I'll turn you this way a little bit. And so I reach, kind of pull it apart, reach in and grab that seam and iron it. I'm going to do this all the way around. That's just me. You can finish it however you want to finish it. I think it says like stitch in the ditch, that kind of thing. But I try to iron it all the way around and get it nice and flat. So then when I go over those edges, it's already pretty flat. So I'm going to iron and get this nice and flat. As you can see, I'm just pulling that seam up and just kind of straightening this seam out like that. There we go. Then I hit it with iron. Just like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing, guys. I'm going to be ironing the seam right here. Let's do a little bit more. See that? I just grab it, finger press it a little bit. And then you have a crisp edge. Yes, it takes a hot minute, but it's worth it. It is worth it. So like, open this up, reach in and grab it, and then come back up here where you've ironed, and then just kind of get her straight like that. Try not to get the backing showing. And I'm going to do that all the way. Guys, it has been so rainy here. I'm in Western North Carolina. For those that don't know, it has been like so rainy. It seems like it was that way last year. Am I imagining things, or was it that way last year? There's a seam right there, so she's not wanting to, there we go, cooperate. Back's coming up just a little bit. The back's coming up. I just kind of roll it back down while it's still warm and press it with my fingers. And I know you hear this creaky chair. I know you do. This chair is old. I got it at, of course, a thrift shop. I painted it. I reupholstered the seat. And it has just been my craft chairs. But it's creaky. It's old. I don't know. But I paid like $2 for it. So for a $2 chair, I'm happy with it, even though it creaks. So that's how I'm going to do my edge. I'm going to finish this, and then we'll come back and I will sew some all across the top. We'll finish this up. All right, I have pressed all the way around this guy. I'm burning up from just the iron. I am actually going to up my stitch length just a hair. And I'm going to sew a quarter edge around everything. This should close up my opening right there. Get to the edge, we're going to turn. Actually, I could go like another stitch or two. I'll do that by hand. Just turn it. There we go. I'm just lining my foot up with the edge of, and yeah, we're good. I'm gonna go around the whole thing, guys. Look at the back, how pretty. I'm actually going to speed her up. String. Get you out of there. Strings, get you out of there. Get to a corner. Turn. That's good. It's just putting a hem, like a stitch, all the way around. That's all we're doing. And almost done with that part. I will go back through and do straight lines down. That's all I'm going to do to keep this together. Seeing a little bit of back come up more than I want, so I'm just going to roll that under a little bit there. And I thought about getting some rickrack and putting around the edge, so if a little bit of back does peek through backing, I may go back over this like some rickrack. Okay, and then turn, and I should be right back where I started. Take a few stitches, a couple back stitches, and cut my thread right there. And guys, there's your table runner. So I'm going to do a few more. I'm going to go across here, this hem here, and I'm going to go down a few of these lines. So I will start, see if I can get my needle. I'm going to slow her down because I'm going to try to stay beside of this hemline. Let me move my iron down a little bit out of my way. Move my pin cushion out of the way. Not necessarily stitching in the ditch, but right beside the ditch. I might even slow her down a little bit more. And I'm using the inside of my foot, this opening, as my guide. I'm keeping that opening right beside of that sewed line. So not necessarily in the ditch, but right beside the ditch. Okay. Just to be a little more accurate, I slowed her down. Straighten her up here, straighten her up. There we go. So all I have to do is just hold this down here. Keep it straight. Just going right up the center of that foot. I use my foot for my guide a lot. I mean, it's just easier to do. Whew. All right, I'm gonna go around this whole thing, and probably go on this inside line. And guys, I'll iron it. We'll come back and I'll show you the finished table runner. I need more coffee. Oh my gosh, it is so hot in this craft room. That iron heats this room up so much. And I found like a double ring light, guys. So let me know if the lighting is a little bit better. There is a double ring light right here. I was trying to figure out how to get it behind my desk so it'd be facing me, but the stand, I cannot fit it behind my desk because there's a board that goes all the way down to the bottom, a backing on my desk, so I can't fit it up underneath there. So for right now, that's why it's like really bright right here. But here it is, guys. It is finished, and it is like a really long. And you got to remember, I did take off one square, so it's not as long as it would have been. I did remove one square. And I'm just trimming some threads. But there it is. I can still go back and put quilting between each of these squares, and I'll probably do that. But for right now, she has 2 lines of quilting going down and some across. Pretty good. I got a lot of strings on the back to trim up. Look how pretty. I will lay it down and get some shots of it. Here is the back. Those really pretty woodies with the flowers, the trees. And I did have just enough backing that I didn't have to piece anything. By taking off one square, I had just enough. So yes, there is my beautiful, beautiful runner. I will get some photos and put here at the end. That's her half right there. That is half. So she's still quite long. That's folded in half. I will turn you guys down one last time. And I'm going to scooch it back a little bit. There we go. So there she is. Look how pretty. Here's the corners. Let's get this up here where you guys can see. There's my corners. And then there's the backing. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to put this on my little kitchen, or it's dining room. It's in the dining room. But look how pretty. Like my little pin cushion, and the pins in there are all the same kind of colors. Super cute. Oh my gosh. Just mix these up. That's it, guys. I'm done with my table runner. I'm sorry it took me so long to get this done. But like I said, my hand, let me turn you back up. It's been in a brace for 2 weeks. I didn't want it in a brace for 2 weeks. She still has a little bit, if you guys can see that right there, of a knot right there. This is like where I pulled it, strained it, was like right up in here. You can still see a little bit of a space there, because this arm does, see that? This arm does not like have a bump on it. This one does. And it was a lot bigger than that. So it's looking good. I can move it. I'm not having any problems with it as long as I'm not like overworking it. But guys, I'm so happy with my table runner. And again, that was a Carla pack from Pineapple. And it is what it says, quick and easy. It would have been quick and easy if I hadn't hurt myself, injured myself. But yeah, I'll get some really pretty pictures of it and put them here at the end. So if you're gonna sew one of these, let me know down below, and let me know what kind of fabric you're getting. I don't know if they still have this pattern available. Hopefully they would, since it's really pretty and springy. But that's it, guys. I will see you on the next one.